Hey y'all, Michelle on a mission here, and welcome to the channel. As you guys know, I am on a mission to live my best life, traveling the world, and I invite you guys to take that journey along with me. So today on this episode of Expat to Expat Live, I am very happy to have a young lady with us today. So for the first two, we had gentlemen. Today I have my first lady, and I'm happy to introduce you guys to her. I love her YouTube channel, and she has a good Instagram as well. And I put all that information in the description box. So you guys be sure to make sure that you follow her channels and follow her journey. And she's going to talk to us about what her life is like as an expat. So I'm going to bring her on now. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, no, I can't see. Hold on. Oh, man. All right. Got you added to the stream. There you go. Let me make sure you're on there good. Yep, there you are. Okay. So welcome, Allia. Welcome to Expat to Expat Live.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good. I've just
Okay.
broken my fast. Well, not just. About, a couple hours ago, chilling, had some caffeine, so definitely feeling much better than, say, like 12 hours ago when I was
Right.
like in my withdrawal.
I bet everybody's walking around hangry. That's what I'm calling it. They're hangry. Yeah.
Hangry. Actually, we need
Until
to come up with another word for caffeine withdrawal when you're angry. Because for me, it's not about the hungry. It's just about the fact that I take in a lot of caffeine.
Okay.
So,
well, I'm ready to do the same thing right now. So y'all see that? Get ready to get my little caffeine right. I have not had a Red Bull since I've been here. I'm gonna have to go find some, see if it tastes the same.
So it doesn't, but we do what we can.
Okay. All right. So if you would please go ahead and introduce yourself, and I'm going to put the first question up. But just like a brief introduction of who you are, and then we could get started with the first question.
Sure. Okay. So my name is Allia, and I am originally from South Carolina in the United States. And I was born and raised there. Now my dad is Egyptian, but he immigrated to the United States in the late 70s, and became an American, and my mom and dad got married and had us and everything. And then around the age of about 18 or 19, my dad got a really great job here in Egypt flying. He's a pilot. And so he would just come back and forth for us, to the United States and see us like every 6 weeks or so. And then in the summertime, and sometimes during like Christmas break, I would come and stay in Egypt with him. And when I came, I really liked it here. And when I was finishing up uni, and I was getting my degree in education, and I wanted to teach, I decided, well, why not? If I'm ever going to do international teaching, why not do it while I'm young and I don't have any commitments? And I went to a job fair, and I found a really, really great school that I really liked. It just checked all the boxes for me, and having a place to stay with my dad, who was here and flying at the time, just sounded perfect. And so I signed with them and everything. And then 2 weeks after I signed my contract, my now brother-in-law, he introduced me. He sent me an email with a picture of this guy, this really nice looking guy. And he's like, what do you think? I was like, ooh, he's cute. And it ended up being like 6 months later, I got married because I was heading to Egypt anyway. And so, we're still married 10 years later. So so when I was immigrating actually here than just coming and trying it out. I was committing to coming here.
Well, that is awesome. That's an awesome story. So that's great. So you came, you have the work that you love, and then to manage to find someone to love and have a family and a relationship. I think that is awesome. So you kind of already gave away where you are. So now we understand why.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm living in CAIRO, Egypt. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Yes. So you are in Egypt, and how long have you been here?
This is my 10th year. It will be 10 years on June 14th. It will be 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that is awesome. And you're loving it so far?
I mean, definitely. Listen, no, you have your ups and your downs, and I'm the kind of person that when I don't like something, I don't like. I get out.
Right.
Like, so if I wasn't, if I was unhappy, I would have left, long
Right.
ago. So,
Okay.
I mean, definitely moving to any new place will have its challenges, but it's not so much about the country as it is about yourself and not understanding what it is to live outside of our bubble as Americans.
Right, exactly. And then speaking of America, you said you were born and raised in South Carolina. I was actually stationed in Charleston
I love
for
Charleston.
I know for most of my career in the military. And then when I got out, and actually this is how long ago I was in. I was in back when Hurricane Hugo hit and tore
Wow.
the city up really badly. Right, so a long time ago. But now when you go to Charleston, it is like this hidden oasis. It's like this place that everybody should go to visit. It's just they rebuilt it and it's just beautiful.
Yes,
I mean,
it's
it's
amazing. I can't get enough of Charleston. And it's just like
right.
it just has this feeling, it's just this homey feeling, and the fact that it's just this beautiful combination of old and new because
Mhm.
there's so many things being built and it's just amazing.
It is. It is. I love it there too. So I'm looking forward to going there when I go back to visit. All right. So everybody, she is located in Egypt. Let me see who's here. Mahmoud, welcome to the live. Let's see. We appreciate you being here today. Okay. So question number 2 is, what are the top 3 places you enjoy visiting the most in Egypt?
Okay, so number 3 is going to be a place that I was lucky enough to go to before they closed it off for a bit. You weren't able to go out there, and this is the Western Desert. My husband works in tourism, so
Okay.
obviously, whenever we take a trip, we do it big, and obviously,
Right.
my husband and his company, they know how to not only go to a place but get the most out of it. So in 2014, in February 2014, we took this amazing safari trip with all of the local expats that worked at my school. We went
Okay.
out into the Western Desert for a weekend, and it was just this phenomenal trip that is just it's life changing because I've never been in a place that's this isolated before, that's this detached from
Right.
you know from everything, from technology, and it's just you and nature and the stars. And it was a life-changing trip because you have to deal with things out there and without the comfort of our what we our daily luxuries, and but at the same time with all that, it was beautiful. My
Wow.
second favorite place is going to be a place in Aswan called Nubia.
Yeah.
And I love, especially in the late evening, like an hour before sunset, like on a felucca as you approach, it's just amazing.
It is.
We had one of those feluccas that have like has a roof that they put like chairs and tables on. And when we went, and I've been a couple times, once
Yeah.
with me and my husband, and then the second time I went on a field trip, and both times it just gives you this peace and this like chill mood.
Right. And you
And then
guys, let me tell them this though, Leah. If you guys aren't familiar, a felucca is a boat. It's a type of boat. It's a sailboat actually, and it's something that is, from what I understand, like indigenous to Egypt. It's something that was built by Egyptians here. When I went to Aswan, they have like a whole exhibit there in the Nubia Museum about the boat building trade that
yeah.
was there back in ancient days or whatnot. So it is a very popular boat ride here in Egypt. So when you guys come visit here, you need to make sure that you get on the felucca because the sunsets are beautiful on the Nile. Okay, and then
Absolutely.
number 1.
Number 1 is going to be Alguna, which is about 30 minutes north of Hurghada. This was when we went there. We decided to go last year in the middle of Ramadan.
Okay.
It was our spring break, or it was a break or something. No, what it was is that we went online. We went teaching online, and we had a break, and we were just kind of like last minute. It was literally the night before. Like, do you want to just take the kids and go down to Guna? We've never been, and
Right.
we booked it overnight, and it's definitely very expensive. It's not cheap. I'm not gonna lie. Like a hotel or an Airbnb is really expensive, but it's so chill and clean and just organized. And like we went for an afternoon, even with me fasting, like it wasn't a problem or anything. And we took the kids to the lagoon and took a paddle boat out, and they got to spend the afternoon swimming, and it's just so chill. It's like a really, really chill place. And I hate that I've been all of this. It took me 9 years to go, because it's really amazing.
Right. And then, and and Elguna is like, it's one of the places I have had the opportunity to actually visit, and I loved it. And my favorite place to eat when I was there was a restaurant called Ceviche, because it was the first time I've seen tacos since I've been in Egypt.
That's one thing I have to say. In Egypt, the Mexican food or any sort of Latin food is not it's not quite there yet. It's not quite there yet. It's getting there. There are some places that are coming up that they're getting close to it, but still it's not quite part of the cuisine that I feel like has been mastered here.
Yes. Right. It's something missing in the seasoning. It's like they have all the vegetables, they have all the pieces, but it's just like, I mean, a fajita has a distinct taste,
Exactly.
And they kind of missed the mark on that. But ceviche, they did a really good job. So for me, it was like the first time I even saw a taco, because I live in Luxor, so we don't have.
Well, you don't have that at all. Yeah.
So when I went to Hurghada, I had the chance to go to Elguna, and while there, I saw that restaurant, and I was like, detour immediately to go try it. And it was good.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful there, just like you said. It's very serene, and I'm like, so that's like on the wish list of places to live one day, because it's really
and it's becoming quite now a hub for foreigners, because they've now put up an international school there, and people are actually moving. And then people from Cairo are starting to move down to retire, because it's nice weather all year. It's super quiet and clean, so people are liking to retire.
Yeah, because I did see a lot of, like, I'm a foreigner, but I saw a lot of foreigners when I was there. Yeah. That's for sure. And then Mahmoud, what did you say? You said, so you don't consider her an expat? Is that because she's been living in Egypt for 10 years? Right. So maybe he'll respond to that. All right, so moving on. So the next question is, what do you like to do for fun there in Cairo? Because it's a lot to do in Cairo, I'm sure.
There is. I would say when I was young and only like 23, 24, absolutely, there was lots of stuff. Like, I loved going to the movies. My husband and I used to, just try out all different types of restaurants. I have this really childish obsession with theme parks. So we went to all of these different types of theme parks, like Dreamland and Giroland and all of that. And we did that. And but now, as a mom, as like a 34-year-old mom of two, honestly, I just still love going to the movies, and then afterwards going to a really nice restaurant, because you have no shortage of restaurants. But
I'm sorry. Wait, somebody is knocking at my door. Hold on.
Okay, no problem.
Who is it? Who is it? Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm doing a live on YouTube right now. Oh. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. So apparently there is a problem with the electric, and they said that the lights are going to go out for like 10 minutes, but I should be okay because I have it all hooked up to my computer. So maybe we can make it through. I'm like,
let's see.
Do not disturb sign up on my door. But I'm sorry, but go ahead. So you were talking about things that you like to do for fun. Sorry.
Yeah, I was saying there are actually a lot of things like paint nights and laser tag and all different types of things. I think that I'm just past, with two kids, I think I'm just past that point where I'm out there looking for new things to do. Right. And I'm just more about enjoying time with friends. I'm more about, I love going to a good restaurant or a cafe or maybe just a dessert place and just chill in a nice, beautiful looking area.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like fun to me. But I also like to do some bowling.
Yeah.
And then I like to play golf. They have golf courses in Cairo?
Yeah, they do. I'm not into golf, but they're actually, my husband was just telling me that there was a group coming in and they wanted to go and do golf. So he actually had to go find a few places, and there are places to golf here.
Okay, cool. So that's good to know. I have to look that up when I come up there. Okay, so then let's see. What are your favorite local foods, and what is your favorite local food, and have you tried to make it yourself?
Yeah, I'd like to cook a lot of Egyptian food. But when I got married, I didn't actually really start attempting to cook any of them until I had been married for a couple of years. I would say, like, obviously, and this is an Egyptian thing, all Egyptian kids, they love something called molakheya, and it's a green soup, and it doesn't look appetizing, but when someone actually tries it, they're like, oh my gosh. And it's so, you can make it so quickly, like tonight for iftar, or for dinner, breaking the fast. My daughter came to me and was like, I really want molakheya, and it really took me like 20 minutes to just put it all together. It's not a problem. So I love molakheya. I love feta, which is rice with meat. You can do it with beef or lamb, and then red sauce on top. I love making that, but that's not something I make a lot. I love mumbor. Mumbor is it's like rice stuffed in an intestine. It sounds disgusting, but it's actually really, really good.
Okay.
But I've never tried to make that. I usually just get the fried ones, and then you can just put them in the air fryer.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, all of those sound funny. So the first one that you said, the molika, that's like a green leafy type thing that has the texture like okra.
Kind of
like
goopy.
Like
it's kind of goopy and slimy a bit unless you water it down. Like my husband doesn't like it too thick, so I usually water it down with broth, like a lot of broth, so it's not too thick.
Yeah, see, I had experience with that. I'm just like not an okra fan, so anything for me that has that, I can't even do guava juice because it's just too. I can't do it. The mouthfeel, I don't like it. So let me welcome a few people to the live right now. So we have 100% True here. They're saying, sorry, love just came in. Expat from which countries? Oh, Egypt. she's here. She lives here in Egypt. And then the question she's asking is it true that Egyptian police are hostile towards foreigners? Wow, I'm thinking you probably got that question because of some food blogger was just here not too long ago.
I saw it. I saw. I made a comment, and when I saw it, and I think that what wasn't like emphasized in it, he wasn't wrong. I don't think he's wrong about how difficult it can be for filming. It really can be difficult to film. Even me, when I go out to vlog, I'm very, very careful about my camera, and if I'm going, I tend to not take it out in certain instances if I feel like I'm uncomfortable or whatnot, and maybe I might vlog with my phone. That would be better, just to be a little bit more discreet. But if it's about the foreigner thing, I disagree completely with that statement. I've never had any hostility whatsoever for anything. Once they hear me speak, actually, you know what, most of the time I don't even have to speak. They look at me and they're like, yeah, this is a foreigner. So I've never had any rough encounters with anyone. If anything, they've all been like super polite to me.
Right. And see, and I just feel like me too. I mean, I'm filming all over the country. I mean, I've been up and down the coast. I'm blogging all the time. No one has ever bothered me at all. So I'm looking at his. Go ahead.
I also think that there was something else that wasn't brought up in that video. Is that he's coming in with like near $100,000 of electronics, and this is actually something that's a part of entering, like that's taxable, that's like for customs. This is a part of what they look at when you're having to declare things and all of that. And all of us know that coming in, when you're coming in with computers and iPads and all of that. So do I think that he was probably put through a lot? Absolutely. I wasn't there. I don't know what the situation is, but his situation and him telling people don't come to Egypt, I posted a comment saying, I wonder how many people are not going to have money for their families because of this video that they put out encouraging people not to come here, because not everybody has this issue.
Right. And it's really just a small majority. It's small amount of people, I think, that may have that issue. But here's my thing. It's like, if you know what not to bring in, if the first suitcase they open is filled with drones, you can't bring drones here. So that
like
right there would make me search everything.
Yeah, that's like common knowledge. And in all honesty as well, I mean, you're talking, I've traveled all over the world. My husband and I, we've traveled everywhere. And I've had equally difficult situations, maybe not in this instance, but in other places I've gone where I've had certain things happen, but I didn't get on and do a rant and tell people don't come here and this and that. I mean, I just don't think it's nice to take livelihood from anybody just because you in particular, with your very, very unique situation, having hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment, you know, to tell people don't come here.
I know. Yeah, I thought that was a little messy of him. Let's see. Welcome to the live, Tula, aka Tracy. Glad to have you here. She says that she heard that soup is made with spinach. The molaka.
No, when I first tried to make it in the supermarket, the packet of spinach and the packet of molakaya look almost identical. And unless you read in that it says molakaya and then this says spinach, and I tried to make it and was making it with spinach, I was like, this is not right. It's not what, this is not how it tastes. And I did like, it's similar, but they're not the same.
Okay. And then let's see. Oh, Desiree M, welcome to the live. And the question is, does she teach at an international school there? Yeah, we're going to get to that a little bit later. But yeah, she does. So welcome to the live. And let's see, 100% true. Question is, do you notice a difference between yourself and foreign women? Apparently, the women in the States, are overly masculine. Well, we're from the States, both of us.
I don't think that it's where I know what she's talking about. I know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
For me, it's not about masculinity. I do think, and I noticed this, especially me coming from the South, which is a very kind of, it's almost like there's like a wall, and then when you step through it, it's like time doesn't move at the same pace. So, and it's a slower pace of life, and people value different things. So when you come here, I did notice that women are much more involved with how they look, their clothes. I used to, when I I moved here when I was 24. So when I came, I used the same bag for like 2 years, not switch it out. But then when I moved here, I'm seeing all of my friends, my colleagues, my in-laws, everybody's changing their bag with every single outfit in order to make sure that it matches with their shoes. And then up on fashion, like people are so much more trendier here and following trends than in the United States. So I don't see that it's that they're more masculine in the United States. I think that it's just that they're more fashion centric, or at least at certain like socioeconomic levels, at least, are much more focused on how they look and how they dress and how they come off. Because if you see, there are tons of women who are all about that gym life and all about weightlifting and kickboxing and all of that, So and then women who are from a more from unfortunately from struggling backgrounds that maybe come from a lower socioeconomic background. Those women, I wouldn't want to get into a fight with them. Man, they kick any man's butt. Really?
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Let's see. Okay, so what advice would you have for people looking to visit Egypt?
I think it all depends on like my situation. And I know someone, mentioned that they didn't think that I was a real expat. And I would say that what I am is what we call a habzi. That my story is actually a very, very common one. This is people who have parents who are from the Middle East, and they've maybe visited in summers, or maybe haven't visited at all, and want to come and live here for a bit. But quite frankly, even with me having this background, I wouldn't have considered myself a local either because I didn't speak the language. I didn't know any of the customs. Honestly, I got here and I had to learn everything on my own. So this is why I do consider myself partially an expat. When I got here, I would consider myself like expat because I knew nothing and I was settling in. But now 10 years later, I feel like I'm really right in the middle. I've not lost anything that I would consider to be like my American values or the way that I live, but I've definitely changed in other ways that I've become more Egyptian with my personality and certain things. When someone comes here, and I would say that this would be the advice I would give to anybody moving anywhere, regardless of which country it is that we are choosing to go and live in someone else's country. We are choosing to live here. Therefore, it is not for the people around us in the country we're moving to bend and change and make, go out of their way all the time for us. We have to learn to assimilate a bit and get used to the way they live because we're choosing to live there. And as far as Egypt specifically, I feel like when you move here, you need to understand that there are little quirks about the culture and the daily life that it doesn't matter how much you complain and gripe and be negative, it's not going to change. So you might as well just accept that this is the way that it is, these little things. Like, for example, people being on time. This is just a part of the culture. It's whatever, you get used to it. And certain things about the country that are not going to change. So just move on and focus on the positive because you're just gonna just feel bad all the time. So focus on the positive. That's gonna be my biggest advice.
Yeah, and that's some great advice because that's true. And I try to tell people that all the time. And I really like your point about the fact that when we move to other countries, that the people who are there were there first. We are a foreigner in their land, and the onus is on us to understand the customs and to learn them and to, like you said, assimilate into the community there if we expect to stay there. Now, if you're going to come and just be, if you're just visiting for a short period of time and you're leaving,
That's also another thing I would like to tack on to this. If you can find a trustworthy Egyptian to help you navigate things, it really, really helps. I have always been lucky because I have my husband who goes out of his way to make sure that I live in a bubble and I'm untouched and I don't have to stress about anything. If you can have someone who knows, they know the procedures, they know what to do, and you can call them for support and help and questions and all that also would be helpful as well.
Absolutely. And I tell the people who watch my channel this all the time. I don't know if my experience here, I've been here almost 2 years now, and I don't know if my experience here would have been the same had I not known or had that trustworthy Egyptian that I was introduced to prior to coming. So it was another YouTuber that told me about someone, and that person, just took us under his wing, and we've had a flawless, great time here. And I just don't really know if my experience would have been the same if I didn't have that connection with someone.
I'm noticing that people, from everyone that I've seen, honestly, that people either have like a really awesome time and stay for forever, or they get here and it's not great and they leave after 1 or 2 years. Like I'm not seeing any really gray areas. It's either you love it or you hate it. And that's honestly, that is Egypt. You either get here and you like it, or this is just not your cup of tea and I'm ready to go.
Exactly. You're right about that. So let me welcome in Blind Guy, his wife, and their life. Welcome to the live, you guys. I'm glad to have you here. Let's see. Greetings. I love that advice to understand the culture and work with it rather than complain. Absolutely. And 100% True says, you're truly blessed to have such a husband. Absolutely. All right, you guys. So that was some great advice. And for everyone that's just coming in, I just want you to know, like, my guest name today is Allia. She's living here in Egypt. She's been in Cairo or in Egypt for like 10 years. She works here. She has a family here. And she's just been sharing her input on what life is like here in Egypt. So Next question. Do you recommend this country for repatriation? And if so, or if not, why?
I mean, I recommend it with caution. All right. I have, like I said, my just previous statement is that you're either going to love it or you're not. Okay.
True.
And I'm going to give you reasons. I'm going to give you a list of, okay, this place is for you if you're this kind of a person. And this place is not for you if you're this kind of a person. Right. So, all right. If you are someone, especially in education, because I'm going to tell you something, you can make a lot of money here if you are a teacher. If you are a qualified teacher, you can make a lot of money because the cost of living here,
right?
Not currently, because things are a little bit with what's going on in Ukraine, things are a bit expensive. It's causing a bit of things, but in general, you are going to be able to save a majority of your salary here because especially if you're coming in as a teacher, they'll pay for your housing, your transportation, they'll give you plane tickets, all of that. So you're basically just paying for electric and food and water at this point, you know?
Okay.
So if you're somebody who's really looking to save some money, this is definitely a place for you. Okay. And a lot of the schools now are giving, you know, they're changing, they're updating, they're making sure that your living conditions are quite good. And they really want to bring expats in, you know, these international schools want to bring in expats. So it's the opportunity for you to come in, you to come in and live in a nice apartment, you know, and save some money. If you're somebody who is really out there and likes a nightlife, Egypt has an amazing nightlife, especially Cairo. Right. Cairo has a night like you never imagine. If you like hustle and bustle, if you love no endless supply of restaurants, if you love, and I didn't bring this up, things that I didn't add in this, things that I love doing. I love going to Egyptian weddings. I love going to Egyptian weddings because it's like getting dressed to go to the prom. Like, honestly, like, I love it. I love from the minute of getting ready all the way to the end of the night going home. It's just great. So if you you're a social person who loves to go out and do, you know, this is the place for you. Now, for those of you who are not, like, you are very self-aware that there are certain things like traffic you don't like, noise you don't like, you like things to be on time and very, very regulated. You want things to be completely laid out and be able to plan everything. If you're an anal kind of person who just can't, I mean, and sometimes I'm like that with certain things, and you can handle. If you're not a flexible person, then I would say Egypt is not going to be for you. But if you're not a flexible person, but still you really need to save some money, just bite down, just hold on and come and do it because you can really make some money here.
Good. All right. And then let's see. 100% True says, please comment on the concept of reverse culture shock. So we can only speak to, I guess for me, I only can speak to what that's like coming from the US to here. But what's your opinion on that, Allia? Reverse culture shock. Do you feel that that's the thing?
I mean, can we kind of 100% true? Can you get a little bit more specific with what you mean with reverse culture shock? Do you mean like reverse culture shock as in when I go back home and me having to deal with how I feel when I go back to the United States? Because I'm not from Egypt and I wasn't born here. I didn't even visit Egypt for the first time until I was 18. And at that time it was like 6 weeks, and then I went back home again.
Okay. So so if you could kind of elaborate on your question, 100% true, that'll be helpful. Blind guy, his wife in their life said 10 years there. Okay, so she's the expert that I'm looking to guide us if we visit. Yeah, because 10 years is a long time. Yeah. For sure. And let's see. And then 100% true had another question, but she's like, they're asking, do Egyptians consider themselves to be African from your observation? But no. Egypt is in Africa.
They don't.
I don't know what that means. I mean, Egypt is in Africa.
It is in Africa, but the people themselves are not African. They are Arabs. Even actually, I've not really had this discussion with too much. Do they consider them to be African? No, they will not. They will not call themselves African. No.
Yeah, the people in CAIRO.
Yeah,
because it's a little different here in Luxor. The people
I
that I
think because
talk
it's
to
Upper
here.
Egypt. Because it's Upper Egypt, and guys, when I mean Upper Egypt, I don't mean literally Upper Egypt. When they say Upper Egypt, because the Nile flows south. So Upper Egypt actually means
Right.
Southern Egypt, which is closer to Sudan and all that. And you have also the Nubian culture. So obviously they might, but if you're looking at Cairo and not even just Cairo, like Hurghada and the north, no. If you were to ask an Egyptian, do they consider themselves African? I would say I've never heard that before. But that's just me, and maybe I don't take my word. Maybe somebody else has, and maybe they do. But I've not had that. Even actually, I don't even hear themselves calling themselves. They don't even call themselves Arab. If I'm being honest, like if they say Arab, they actually mean somebody from Saudi, from the Gulf. So they call themselves Egyptians.
Yeah, because I know the people. Yeah, I know the folks that I know here in Luxor and the people that I've met in Aswan. I mean, most people just consider themselves Egyptian.
Yeah.
Period.
Some of the fiercest, most proud people in the world are Egyptians. I really, honestly, really proud people.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Shay. Welcome to the live. Welcome, Shay Vlogs, you guys. She's here visiting the live today. Thank you for saying that. Smash the like button. Yeah, you guys, if you're liking this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Like I said earlier, I have Allia's information in the description box, her YouTube channel, which is pretty funny, especially the pizza review, and then in her Instagram. So make sure you guys go and follow her. Let's see. She's asking Tula, aka Tracy, wants to know: do you need a teaching degree to teach, or a bachelor's degree to teach? Okay. I would think so.
So I would say 15 years ago, anybody with an American passport could, with as long as they had like a bachelor's degree, could. Yes. I think times have changed. And now these international schools now are becoming accredited. And in order for you to maintain that accreditation, you have to prove that your teachers are all certified for a good school. Keep in mind that if a school is hiring you and you don't actually have the credentials to be a teacher, it's the likelihood that you're not going to actually be working at a school that's going to be a very good working environment. And the salary is likely not to be great. So it used to be that anybody that spoke English could just walk into any school and they'd automatically, just because of their native English, hire them. But this is just not the case anymore at all. I know that also by law, I think for expats, you have to have 3 years of experience in order to be able to get the work visa. Like they cannot hire as an expat by law a first-year teacher. And if they are, so I know of someone they're an international school. I'm not gonna put any school down or whatever, but it's it's not a great international school, but they still managed to be bringing in foreigners. And this girl was brought in and she reached out to me through Instagram to ask me, and I warned her against the school and everything. But she's like, they've hired me on, with only 1 year. And I just knew it wasn't going to go well. And they ended up not getting her a work visa. And because she didn't have a work visa, they, for horrific circumstances, just canceled her contract and let her go. But because she didn't have a work visa, right to fight it. So that's another thing. If you have to have a visa. If you don't have a work visa, you have no protection. For your job, you have no stability. They can let you go at any time.
So tell me this then. If you could improve anything about your experience in the country, what would it be?
I would say I would have started learning the language a little bit sooner than what I did, because as soon as I learned how to speak, things became immediately easier for me. I became much more independent. That would probably be if I could go back. I mean, I didn't wait that long. It was like 2.5 years before I started taking lessons. But improving my experience in the country, I would say, again, going back to just sometimes we as Americans, we need to kind of take it down just a notch and make sure that, we're being a little bit more humble because about who we are. And especially if you're coming in as an expat, as a teacher, don't go in, well, here's the foreigner who's going to come in and tell you what to do. I mean, there's this unfortunate, really terrible thing, that really highly qualified Egyptians who have degrees from outside of Egypt, and I mean, just as equal, their credentials are better than mine, but you'll have somebody who has 3 or 4 years of teaching come in and walk into a room with someone with 15 years of teaching and a PhD and try and take over. I think that this is my experience. I wish I would have been a little bit more humble about my position going in and listened and talk less and just toned it down just a bit.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And the final thing. I wish that I had when I was in like parties and dinner parties, I wish I would have asked people to translate what was being said inside. Like I always kind of sat back, like if they're speaking in Arabic, maybe they don't want me to know what they're talking about. But I learned that this is like, again, we're in Egypt. They speak this. This is their first language. I have to stop being afraid to ask. No one is going to tell you, you know what? I just don't think you should know what we're talking about. I don't want to let you know. Like it's not going to happen. They're going to translate. And they're going to want to translate for you.
Right. Well, I do that. So here's how I do that, handle that. If I walk into a store situation where everybody's speaking English at some point, and then all of a sudden everybody starts speaking Arabic because it's comfortable for them, then when they get finished, I'm like, okay, so what'd you say? Because it's like, I know you speak English. Yeah. So if we've already we greeted each other and we're having a full conversation in English, you can't revert back to Arabic. We're still in that same English conversation. I don't think that's fair. But I'm the one that asks. I'll be like, well, what does that mean? And what did you say? What does that mean? And they'll laugh and then they'll tell me, but I'm like, I don't know if that's real or not, but okay. Because I'm trying to learn the words myself. I'm trying to learn the language, and it's really good.
Amay is a forever changing language because it changes with social media and with culture, pop culture. The language changes. There are words that weren't words like the word fakis. Like that's not like a real word. It's just a made up word that derived from something like a movie or something like that. Things change, and the way that people talk change. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to keep up with it all. But there's no harm into saying, hey, what are you guys talking about? And then inserting yourself into the conversation.
Exactly. And that's what I do. And then the other thing too, is I didn't really realize that there were so many different dialects, because when I was in Cairo, I was able to use Google Translate, and the people in Cairo understood more what I was talking about. And then you get to Luxor and you use Google Translate and they're looking at you like, what? Because their Arabic is different.
They make fun of you. They're like, this is something, because that Egyptian Arabic is actually of all of the Arab language, the Arabic languages, all of the Arabic dialects, Egyptian is the easiest one to learn. It's the less difficult palette, but yeah, what you said, in Cairo you can get around with Google Translate a bit, but they're still going to be they're going to laugh at you a bit.
A little bit. They laugh, but we got the gist of what we were, they got the gist of what we were asking and pointed us in the right direction. So, and that's the other good thing I like about Egypt.
My daughter who's lived here her whole life, she was born in the States, but she takes Arabic as in, like, we call it Fusha. Arabi Fusha means like traditional Arabic, right? And she's taking it almost as if it's her third language. I'm not joking. The way that she's learning it is as if it's her third language, because it is so different than, not different, but different. It is different. It's different words than Egyptian Arabic.
Yeah, it's confusing, but I'm learning it a little bit. So maybe. Okay, so we already answered the question in terms of what you do for work here. And let me see if anybody else has more questions about teaching. And thank you for all the information in terms of teaching here. So at least people who are coming, so I don't know that there aren't many international schools here in Luxor. I mean, I live on the West Bank side too, so there may be more on the East Bank side. So I don't know if people could come here for that, but I guess a major city like Cairo.
There are so many schools. And the problem is that people need to be aware that just because it has the word international before it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all.
Okay.
Any old school, international school, you want to look for its reviews. You want to look at what if it doesn't require your teachers to have really solid credentials, then what kind of school is this? It means it's not a school that's having any high expectations whatsoever for anybody. So
right, that's a big daycare. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so you guys, anyone that is just joining the chat or just joining the live stream, our guest today is Allia. She is from the United States and she's been living in Egypt for 10 years. She is a teacher here, living in, let's see, what we call that, Lower Egypt. and is married and has a family. And yeah, so she's just been sharing her journey. So if you're just joining, we are kind of getting to the end of the live. Please make sure that you watch the replay. Also, you can go down to the description box and you can click on her links to follow her on YouTube and Instagram as well. And yeah, so is there any other ways that people can follow? Do you have any other social medias or anything like that you want to share outside of Instagram and YouTube?
I keep it pretty simple. I feel bad I've not uploaded on Instagram I've not uploaded on YouTube in a bit. It's just been this is the most difficult time of year right now.
Right.
In teaching, we're, coming to the end. So I've just kind of been, and plus it's Ramadan. So everything is just all over the place,
Yeah.
But hopefully I'll be able to put something up soon.
Is that me? I think I'm buffering. I think that I am buffering. When they took that power out, they might have messed my little router up. But anywho, well, yeah. So in closing, is there anything final that you kind of want to leave everybody with in terms of Egypt, your experience here?
Okay, I will. Okay, this is my final thing that I'll say, is that I have, as I said at the beginning, if I was unbelievably miserable here, I'm the kind of person who, if I don't like something, I'm out, and I kind of do things the way that I want to do them. Having said that, before you commit to coming here, like, I was comfortable moving here because I had spent time here, significant amount of time here. And I just want to make the difference that living in a place, regardless of whether it's Egypt or wherever, living in a place is different than coming for vacation. When you are here for vacation, people will bend over backwards for you to do this and do that here. If you're living here, you're not going to get that same necessarily, let's go out every single night and, sort of thing. So my suggestion for anybody, especially for those who are not even just about the expat life, maybe they're wanting to immigrate here, is to come and look at what you're check it out first. And remember, the pictures online can be deceiving, videos online can be deceiving. And even for like me and YouTuber, as a YouTuber, I very select about what I put. My life may seem like rosy and everything. Even there are people who are making comments and like, oh, you're rich and all that. Like, I had to bring it down. Like, I'm not at all, nowhere near that at all. In fact, when we go to visit, we go for play dates and stuff, we leave and we're like, gosh, oh my gosh. But it's all about coming and checking out what you're doing before you sell everything and pick up your family and move across the world. Check it out before you do come for a bit and see what it is that you're moving to. Take an Airbnb and just, not a hotel, come stay in an Airbnb so you can see what it is to go to the supermarket, what it is to,
Right.
can you deal without having a car? And if you need a car, do you have the money? Because a lot of people don't understand that
Right.
buying a car here is really expensive, and you gotta, and it like
Yeah.
if you don't pay cash, the interest is horrifically high. And buying a home, it's the same thing. That it's actually not
Yeah.
cheap at all. So they're just things that you need to know about living here. But then also when you come here and you have all of these things, you'll be able to really settle in and enjoy Egypt for the little things. Because, and this is kind of what I want to end with. When you live here,
Okay.
you get to enjoy things in life that you wouldn't necessarily get to enjoy in your daily life living in the West. I go every single week to the hair salon to do so, to pamper myself.
Right.
I have a lady who comes and cleans does the deep clean mess that I don't like doing, cleaning toilets and stuff every single
Yeah.
week. You can have
Right.
anything you want delivered to your door. I'm talking, and not just
Right.
delivered, like services. Like if you need to get blood work done, the nurse will come to your house and draw the blood for you from
Right.
here. So those are
Yeah.
conveniences that maybe you're gonna like when you get here, and just understand that there is no such thing as the grass is greener on the other side. It's a balance. Whatever you may be giving up things in order to come live here, but there is no
Mm-hmm.
perfect place.
Exactly. Absolutely. And thank you for that. And let's see, blind guy, his wife in their life said they're going back to the school situation. They say either way, you want to research and check the quality of the school or institution you want to work for. So thanks for that. This has been informative. Thank you. Great. Good. I'm glad you guys are appreciating the information that has been being put out today. 100% True wants to know when are you visiting South Africa? They must be from South Africa.
I really, honestly, do you know, actually, I really, really want to go to Nigeria. I've been watching several vlogs. There is this woman. She's, I think she immigrated to Ireland and then she got married. And they do lots of travel vlogs back and forth to Nigeria. And every time she honestly, her vlogs are brilliant and I love it. And I've become
Okay.
really, really obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I love to go to Nigeria.
Okay. Awesome. Because I think I've only been to one other African country. I went to Ghana for like 30 days and then ended up here in Egypt. It was a long story due to COVID. I had to kind of
Oh,
reroute myself. But the world is opening back up. And my mission, my channel, Matrell on a Mission, my original mission was kind of just see everywhere. And now that the world is opening back up, I'll have the opportunity to do that. So like and I'm getting antsy. I've been here almost 2 years, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think I've ever lived anywhere that long.
well, my husband,
I truly have.
one of the amazing things about Egypt is that it's so central to the world. Like, Europe is 4 hours
Right.
away. I mean, so my husband and I, before COVID, we used to take 2 big international trips every year, not
Oh, wow.
including going back home. I mean, we went to Dubai for the first time in December 2019, and then everything shut down a couple months later. But we had all of these plans. We had a plan to go for Umrah. It's like going to Saudi Arabia it's like a mini pilgrimage. And then everything shut down. I mean, so traveling, was a really big part of our life because we were so close to everything. And now I feel like I've become this curmudgeon that doesn't want to go anywhere, like out of the house at all. So I don't know how I'm going to slide back into that.
Right. True. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm ready for it actually. So like I got a whole little map out, put my little pins in it. I'm like, okay, I need a path. And like you said, Egypt would be my base still because like you said, it's centrally located. You can get to everywhere from here, and it's much more cost effective to fly from Egypt to other countries within the continent than it is to fly from the United States because the cost to come from the States is just ridiculous. So yes, I will be traveling around that way.
100%. I did not confuse Nigeria for South Africa. Obviously, I know that South Africa as a different country than Nigeria. I'm just thinking of
Right.
YouTube bloggers, and she's amazing. So I'm from, obviously, yes, there are clearly two different countries. Yes.
Yes. So Nigeria is just where your preference is, where you would like to
Yeah,
go.
I really
So,
want to go.
yeah.
To Lagos. So I mean, like, it's amazing. I mean, and one of my really dear friends who immigrated to the United States is from Nigeria, and so
Okay.
with his family. So
Awesome.
just mentioning.
And then one last question. Tula, aka Tracy, says, what do you two miss about America other than your family? What about you?
I mean, mine is super superficial. Honestly, I miss easy parking. I really miss easy parking, and I miss, like, it's not Walmart itself. It could be Target. I miss going to, like, a store and everything that I need is in this one place without me having to drive and park in several different uh,
Yeah.
places. You know.
Right. And then see, and you're at such an advantage being in Lower Egypt because especially Cairo, there's just so much there. Where I am, um, we everything is a market. There aren't any big box stores whatsoever. There aren't any entertainment options. But I just love the historical everything here, though. You know what I mean? It's just really beautiful and relaxing, which is what I needed at the time coming from the States. I needed to, you know, I needed to shed the US and get my mind, get my free mind back. So now, I'm looking forward to, going other places and exploring. But the one thing I do miss the most about America is just the variety of food. And I think it's because of where I am. Like you said earlier, there's no Mexican restaurants. We have no Italian restaurants. We have, no good Chinese restaurants. There's one lady that does Thai, and I like choices, and I'm a chef, so I like food choices, and I miss that. That's like, so when I go back to the US, like I went last summer, I'm on the food tour. I gained like 15 pounds. Went back eating, and then, so now I've kind of lost it all again, and I'm like, Lord, I'll be going back there again.
I mean, in Cairo, you have a lot of options. If I'm being 100% honest, in Cairo, you have a lot. Like, I mean, maybe it's not exactly as what we're used to, but in Cairo, you do have a lot of options.
Right,
sure.
And that's what I heard.
But I mean, Italian is probably going to be the main, international cuisine that you'll find here.
Right.
But there are Thai. I think there's a really great Thai restaurant. I think it was either Mandin or Zamalek. Maidi has a lot of really, really great. Maidi is actually the place within Cairo that is for expats. Like the most international schools put their expats in Maidi, and all of the local shops and everybody, they speak English. So it's very easy to live there because everybody, are because it's an expat community, everybody tends to speak English,
Right.
And Zamalek as well. Zamalek, the embassy is there and everything. So you'll find a lot of diverse, different type of, not just restaurants. You'll find different shops, supermarkets, clothing stores, that sort of thing. Where I live is out in the suburbs, so I very much assimilated in. It's not really very diverse. Maybe a few foreigners here and there, but it's not a huge expat community.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for this discussion, Allia. You've inspired me to want to go check Cairo out, because I'm going to be honest, I've been to Cairo like 3 times, but every time I don't venture out beyond like the tourist parts. So now I'm really interested in going to take a look at some of the communities, like going into Maadi and Zamalek, and just kind of checking them out so that, I can kind of report back to people on what it's like, kind of film and stuff, let people see what it's like there. And even just the shops, because, I think in one of your videos, you were talking about shopping, how you take your suitcases back to the States when you go, and you don't shop in Cairo, you bring your clothes and stuff back, because I can't shop here because I don't know who the buyers are, but it's just something about the styles here. I don't want to dress like that. And
no, I mean, you have a lot of options here, but you have choice here, but it's really expensive.
It's really expensive. Yeah. And that's what you're saying. So yes, I want to kind of like at least kind of take a look at that. But I definitely know I have to bring my clothes from the States, or just kind of, I brought my sewing machine with me, so I guess I can make some myself, but finding good fabric, that's, it's been a challenge for me here, but maybe in Cairo I might be able to find something better. But yeah,
there's a place called Wakela.
Wakela.
It's called Wakela. Don't go there alone. Go there with somebody who speaks Arabic, and you have all of the fabric you could ever imagine in your life. Like whenever I have a really big wedding coming up and I want to have a dress custom made, I go there to get my things made.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, thanks for the tip. See, I got, and I'm going to Cairo. When am I going to Cairo? Let's see, June. So I'll be up there in June for my birthday. So yes, I will. I'm going to go shopping.
My birthday
really?
Is June. Yeah, the 27th.
Okay. See, I'm the 6th.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Good. Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. Everyone is saying thank you, you guys. Let's see. Tula says she can relate to both of you. She's in the Gambia. Yeah. So everybody, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are going to be watching the replay, thank you for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to Allia's channel. All of her information is in the description box, her YouTube channel and her Instagram. And thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate having you. It's been a great discussion.
Thank you.
Yes. So you guys, we're getting ready to go. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider becoming a member of this channel today. And don't forget, hit subscribe. Thank you.